Get started. Suzanne and Charles, we thank you all for joining us. We know there's a lot going on today, so we're going to record this and then share it with your colleagues. I mean, obviously, I think you all have been following along. You know that we've had a debate really that's gone on for a couple of years about charter schools now. And we hear what folks are saying. You know, folks are saying, we want to make a change. We need to try something new. Things aren't working. But trying something new in charter schools that has been proven to be ineffective in other states just doesn't seem to us to be the direction we ought to take for the good of our students. So obviously, Senator Lindsay, Senator Romano made passionate floor speeches today, have done their homework, knew the numbers, knew what had happened in other states. And so I want to turn it over to Senator Romano now to talk in more detail about that debate that unfolded today and why we're going the direction that we are. Senator Romano.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good day out there. You know, I think if you listen to Friday and today, the one thing you came away with is this is a great big experiment to which nobody knows what the answers are. And we're playing with, you know, anywhere from $200 million to $400 million of our tax dollars. And that's crazy. Nobody has any answers for, they don't even know how much is going to go with each student to the charter schools. And certainly they don't know what the ramifications are going to be on our traditional public school system. Good thing to remember is the only thing public about these schools is that it's using public tax dollars. Once they're authorized and they've got an alternative authorizer that has nothing to do with the traditional school system, once that's authorized, there's no stopping them except at the renewal time, and that is, again, up to the original authorizer. They have no idea what effect it's going to have on sports, you know, football, basketball, baseball, all the sports are going to be affected by this, not only from a loss of students, but also from a loss of revenues, loss of coaches. It's really just a big crapshoot. There's no better way to put it. You know, they want charter schools. Our Republican colleagues across the aisle, they want charter schools. That's certainly their call. They're in charge of the entire legislature, but there's a sane way to do it and an insane way. And nobody can answer the basic question of why a virtual charter school needs as much money per student as a brick and mortar charter school. If you listen to the debate, virtual charter schools, they have no buildings, no desks, no furniture, they have no cooks, no janitors, no security, and they have a whole lot less instructors. Florida uses one instructor per 274 students. Even if we went down to 1 per 100 students, they're still getting a real windfall as far as our tax dollars, with the potential of $200 million going just to 2 virtual charter schools. Again, we're not trying to stand in the way of what they want, which is an option of charter schools. Nobody in the state has authorized one. They've been around now for a year, not limited by anything else other than whether or not the local boards of education want them. They've been told no, but they're now going to ensure that they're going to get them through this alternative authorizer that they've created and is going to be appointed by the governor. Rich, you want to say anything before we take questions?
Yeah, sure.
Mike,
Rich, go ahead. Okay. Just real quick, you know, here's the thing. This isn't a pro-union bill, or the opposition to it's not pro-union. The opposition to it's not Democrat. In fact, this bill was opposed by both Republicans and Democrats. That's how bad HB 2012 is. And, you know, before the session, all I heard about on the radio, local radio, from Republicans and their advisors is how much local control there will be in this session, how local control will trump just about everything that comes out the pipe. That's not true with 2012. It basically allows, not basically, it does. It allows a state board, a new entity, to trump the local boards of education in each of our counties. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not local control. Again, that's part of the reason why both Democrats and Republicans oppose the bill. And then just the aspect of fiscal responsibility that the senator from Harrison pointed out. What potentially could happen with virtual schools is as much as $200 million of our state funds will leave the state of West Virginia, because those entities, those for-profit entities that will create these virtual schools will not be in the state of West Virginia. So again, regardless of party, regardless of year, West Virginia ends up making the same mistake with our taxpayer dollars going right out of the state to support entities that we will not benefit from. And so that's what happened on that. Those were the arguments in opposition. And Mike, Senator Caputo, if you want anything to say.
No, I think you guys have articulated it well. I think we need to focus our resources on one school system in West Virginia and certainly not two. I don't think that charter schools, from the debate that I carefully listened to for the last several years, I don't think diverting taxpayer money to help a few certainly will do what's right for education in West Virginia. That's why I've always opposed this school system. You know, we come from a time, unfortunately, there were two school systems in West Virginia. And Brown versus Board of Education did away with that. And I'm afraid we're heading in that direction too. Again, that these type of schools could only benefit more of the elite, more of the well-to-do, and it certainly won't benefit the masses of West Virginia. And I just don't think it's a prudent use of taxpayer dollars.
And I think you just have to add into that, even if they only use half of the capacity they've been given, which is about 26,000 students, that's going to be 3,000 public school times. And nobody has explained what's going to happen to our public schools when they lose 5 or 10% of their population to either virtual charters or brick and mortar charters. And what's going to happen to all those public school employees, mainly educators, who are underpaid now to begin with? Where are they going to go, and what kind of schools are we going to be left with for the vast majority of our kids? I mean, public education is the backbone of the American dream. If we don't educate our children to grow up and be productive adults, and it's all of them, not just a certain percentage of them. If we don't educate them all, we're heading down a bad path of people that are not going to be productive citizens, are going to be a burden on society, either through incarceration or through welfare. And this is heading down that path for the select few, for the elite few, and leaving everybody else behind. If you guys have any questions, we're more than happy to respond. Sorry, guys, we left you there in the waiting room. Did you get to hear any of that? We're at questions and answers now.
You can unmute yourselves.
Yeah, just unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. Charles, come on, you have a question, don't you? Come on.
All right, last chance, no questions?
Sorry, I just got on here. This is Ryan with the Gazette Mail. Have you guys heard any, and sorry, for some reason, I just got into this meeting. Have you guys heard?
Around to you, Ryan Wired, if that helps you any, I mean, recorded.
Excellent. Do you guys have any idea what companies may be pushing this bill?
Yeah, there's two virtual charter school providers. One used to be called K-12. It's now called Strive. And there's a second one named Epic. They dominate the national virtual charter school market. They had a bunch of lobbyists pounding around down here most of this session, and even spoke to the bill during committee. One of them claimed that their biggest expense was the educators' salaries, but if you listen to the debate on the floor, that expense can't be more than $19 million, and that's if they pay them $100,000 a piece and have one per 100 students. That's about $19 million out of the $200 million that these schools are going to receive in combined taxpayer funds. And that's a minimum number. I mean, the number is likely a lot greater. That was what we could show without any doubt was going to go to these charter schools in the form of the 90% per student. There's a lot of money at play here. There's a lot of pockets that are going to get lined, particularly on the virtual charter side, and it's very concerning to us.
And thank you. Yeah, I saw that Stride was testifying in that Senate Education Committee meeting. The reason I asked is because it seems like since the charter school organizations that had been proponents of charter school legislation in previous years, like the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools, they came out and criticized this bill. So that got me wondering if none of those charter organizations were happy with it, who exactly is for this thing? Beyond, of course, the Republicans that were passing it. So I know that you said that Stride had lobbyists down here working, and you mentioned Epic as well. Do you know exactly how much they were involved in this bill? Like, was it literally written by these companies? I'm trying to find the extent, because people have lobbyists all the time. I'm trying to find the extent to which this bill is directly a reflection of what certain companies wanted.
I think you'd have to ask the sponsors of the bills. We're not privy to that information. We never got to see the bill until it was rolled out through the House, and really came out of there very quickly. And over to education, it was referenced only one committee. How it can't go to the Finance Committee, given the amount of tax dollars that we're talking about, is absolutely beyond speculation. But certainly the bill was written to benefit virtual charter school companies, whoever they are, and who's ever going to be the education service provider in this state. But don't believe for a second that these are not-for-profit entities. They start out being not-for-profit entities, but then they hire for-profit entities that are going to be pocketing our tax dollars. And that's always a concern. One of those charter schools we talked about is a public company. They're worried about their stock price. They're worried about the profit increase or decrease from quarter to quarter, like every public company is, because they have to show their shareholders that they're getting return on their money. They're putting that at odds with the education of our children. And the one obligation that this legislature has is to provide a thorough, efficient public education to all of our children. And we're going to fail that because these folks are going to be worried about their profits and their bottom line. Anybody else? I still got Senator Baldwin here and Senator Lindsay and Senator Caputo if there's any other questions. Feel free to give us a call, guys, if you have any questions for us personally.
And we'll send out the recording to everybody so you've got full footage. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.